Next into the Vaudreuil-Dorion area, which is about 44 kilometers to the west of Montreal. And as we've been telling you, one of the fastest growing regions in Quebec. You're looking at some drone footage to give you an idea. It's about a 15-minute drive from where I am in Hudson. But the pressures that we've been talking about, the surging population, affordability issues, housing issues, they are all very much part of what we're going to discuss with our first guest here at my location this morning. We're going to talk about the work they do at Le Centre des Rêves Dorion, the Dorion Dream Center. Christian Colman is with me. He's the director of what is, unfortunately, a food bank that is getting busier and busier and busier. Thank you for coming here today. It's so nice to meet you.
Thank you so much for being here. It's such a privilege.
Your organization was founded in a church basement in 2013, if I've got that right, and had 13 clients.
That is correct. That is a dream, and it's in the name, from a pastor's wife, Doris Charles, who started helping one person. And that just moved on to the next one and to the next one. And out of that, a decade later, we're a full-fledged charity organization.
And a busy one. What has 1 and 13, what is your clientele now? How many people are you helping now?
Well, we just actually this week hit the 5,000 food baskets for our Vaudreuil area, which is, we're feeding about 130 to 140 baskets a week, and that keeps growing a lot. It's about 350 people a week that we're serving.
That come into you for
see us, and they're constantly calling us,
for help.
For help, yeah.
And in that number, I mean, the number itself is changing and growing. I'm wondering if you're noticing the people who you are helping. What have you seen in terms of who's in that client base?
Well, working families.
Working families.
We have a lot of refugees and a lot of immigrants that are coming in. Mm-hmm. But, I don't need to tell anyone that the cost of living today is rising, and it's very difficult. Food Bank of Canada came out with a statistic that 40% increase in poverty over the last 2 years. That's going to affect low-income families. So there's a lot of people that come and see us. They might not be with us for a long period of time, but they're in that transition period where they need help, where they just can't make ends meet. When your paycheck covers all the rent, what are you going to do?
It's true. So that's interesting, because sometimes I've been speaking to people who run food banks in Toronto, for example, or in Ottawa, and that's what they tell me. Sometimes they're seeing people who have homes and they still need the food bank, who have jobs and still need the food bank. And is that an experience that is similar in your case?
Absolutely. And we have to remember that this situation can happen to anyone. Your life can change in an instant. You can go from up here to down here really quick and change your situation, so you'll have to go to a food bank and ask for food, and that takes a lot of courage. So we try to give them as much love and integrity as possible.
It might be a perception. Hudson's it's an idyllic, it's a picturesque community. Yes. This area is so beautiful, the Vaudreuil-Soulanges area.
Beautiful, yes.
You might not think there would be a need for an organization like yours. That would be wrong, I guess, obviously.
Absolutely. I mean, even homelessness, something that I deal with, when we mention it to people, they're like, really? There's homeless people here in Vaudreuil? Absolutely. We're down the street from a shelter, and we get the visits all the time.
So what does that tell you about, we're talking about how with all of the surge in population to communities like yours, the strain on services, what do you anticipate seeing in the years to come?
Well, I mean, I don't want to be bleak, but, I don't see things changing. Things seem to be getting worse. However, on the flip side, we do have amazing organizations like the Food Bank of Canada who advocate for the little guys like us, the soldiers on the field, to be able to speak to the government and see if they can give us more help.
Because, Food Banks of Canada, but Food Banks of Quebec.
And Quebec, yes.
They did a survey earlier this year, and they anticipate that a number of requests for food aid could increase by at least 10% over the next 3 years. At least 10% over the next 3 years, that's relatively soon. If that is borne out, how would that affect you?
Well, we've had an increase in about 33% in the last 3 years. So hearing news like that is not exactly, but it's definitely going to affect us. It does give us a lot of pressure. So we try to go out and meet with the representatives, meet with the community. There's so much help in the community of people coming in and helping out and trying to make a difference. But we have to remember that food banks are not the solution. They're actually a reflection of what's going on in society.
So what is the solution? I was listening to an interview that you did, Sean Henry, who hosts Daybreak on CBC Radio back in June. You were talking to Sean because you were at the first ever National Summit on Food Insecurity. Thought that was interesting just a few months ago. And you were looking for new approaches, new strategies to deal with the issue. Did you glean anything from that you're now applying at the Dream Center, or that might point you to a new approach, a new direction that could make a difference?
Well, at the moment, there's not much extra that we're doing, but there was a lot of hope in that summit, and there was a lot of things moving forward, and I'm really hoping that they are able to go in there and speak to the proper people, the people in the government, to see what different strategies we can do and trickle down to the foot soldiers on the field. My focus is really on the people that come in the community. Yeah.
That's hope, but it's interesting to have a smile, to have a message of hope a little bit, because the numbers do seem to be overwhelming.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, going into the holiday season, donor support is so important, but everyone is struggling. So your donations may not be what they are. I mean, is there ever a time, Christian, when there's nothing to give, when the shelves are bare?
Well, it's funny you say that. Just last week, we had prepared 130 baskets,
right?
And we didn't receive a lot of food. We didn't have a lot of food, and our hearts were really heavy. We didn't know what to do, but just at the last minute, we had a company who came in who did a food drive for us, and they brought a bunch of stuff, and we were able to, put the food in the baskets and help those people on that day, and that's heartwarming.
Well, may you have more miracles like that in the delivery of all of us. Thank you for joining us today. I really appreciate it as we try to give a reflection of these kinds of things. I talk about them in different communities too, but these are realities in suburbs, in communities where you might not necessarily expect. These are tremendous challenges. Christian Colman
Thank you so much.
from the Dorion Dream Center with us this morning.